Hey everyone, Kay here. This is my second art compilation, and I'd like to actually talk over it this time, just to explain some of my techniques. So this first one, I've recently gotten into playing some Friday Night Funkin'. I keep on getting it mixed up with Five Nights at Freddy's, but I decided I really like the background character of Girlfriend. One thing I really enjoy is taking simple concepts and turning them into more realistic characters. So I liked how cartoony and mid-2000s the art is from FNF, and well, I mean the game itself is originally from the mid-2000s. So for this one I decided to go with a more cel-shaded approach. I would say in rendering art there's two main shading styles. Cel-shaded styles were more popular back in the early 2010s. They're still currently like the major style used in anime because they're a lot more simple to work with than with smooth blending. So you can see here in her legs, in her chest, I've delineated very clear markings for where is shadowed and where is not shadowed, and also the highlights too. One thing that you can see here is I'm messing with a lot of overlay layers. This is so that then even though I'm cel shading the shadows, they get a interesting amount of color gradation, and there's rim lighting and all that good stuff. So, if you don't know, I am a VTuber and I've been doing a couple of VTuber requests and other VTuber art on Twitter. So here are a couple of VTuber sketches. This first one is of Maple Ribbon. One major thing I want to focus on while creating these VTuber poses was to get some more dynamicism, try to incorporate try to set a scene with their pose, you know? Because it's one thing to draw just somebody standing around in a more default position, but it's another thing to try to express their personality or try to suggest a story with your pose. So one art tip I would give you is even when you're just casually sketching, try to practice poses. Try to make a story or go for some dynamicism in your art. So I actually really like this one of Yume Hana. I think the way that I've drawn the clothes really gives off a feeling of zero-G or space, you know, like she's not affected by gravity. This next one is by Shime Briere. I can't say her name very well. Shime Briere? But this one I start wanting to practice a different style. I've talked previously how my most hated part about making art is probably the inking and lining step. I don't know why, but I've just never been able to get into it. And so for this piece, I wanted to try out to see what would it be like if I try to avoid a lot of that inking step, or like avoid doing a serious amount of cleanup. So you can see here, even though I am like doing some line work, a lot of it is actually not inking over lines I've previously made, but a more continuous drawing process. Now you can see I'm adding base color. Here I wish that when I was drawing it I would have added a background color first before going into her skin tone. I think that would have allowed me to make more dynamic color choices. But overall, this one I also wanted to focus on a slightly more dynamic pose, even though it is a bust up composition. So Her character is supposedly like a Maid Fox character. I thought this might tell an interesting story. So yeah, the next one is of my friend Virachi on Twitter also. Virachi is an Orange Fairy VTuber, and once again I wanted to tell a story with her pose and the composition. This is actually one of my earlier VTuber sketches, so I was still trying out the line, more traditional line and ink work. I always want to stress more regular proportions in my work, even though it's, as you can see, it's heavily anime influenced. I really value a more realistic or human-like proportions in my work. So this last one is of Sumiko Himeko, and for this one I wanted to focus on, well, first off a bonk, but second off I wanted to focus on a more dynamic angle for the pose. So typically I find myself defaulting to a very perpendicular angle to the subject, especially when I do body subjects. So here I wanted to try one where you're looking down, up, and actually she's very close to the camera. So the way that perspective works is even more pronounced. And the secondary thing that I wanted to work with in this piece is also interesting lighting conditions. So once again, typically when I draw, I imagine the light coming from above, you know, from like a sun or something. Here I wanted to imagine a more evil feel, well, not evil, but like more I guess I'll say evil feeling, I guess. And so I wanted the light to be going from down to up, and I also wanted to cast an interesting backlight that was green instead of a typical more white or warm light that you'll usually find. And then the background, you know, I kind of just phoned it in there. And you can see here I also added some god rays in there. And yeah, that's everything that I have to show. I drew a lot more in this time period than is seen in the video, but you know, here I just want to showcase some of the works I'm proudest of. So thanks so much for watching to the end. If you're interested in more of my art, if you want to see less finished pieces, you can follow me at my Twitter handle, twitter.com/k_online, or you can follow this channel. I have art streams pretty often, and I also play some games. You know, I gotta do some self-promotion at the end here. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh well, let's end the video. Thanks everyone!